Hello everyone, I'm Bram Duffee and welcoming you here back to speech class. Today I want to be able to talk about extemporaneous style speaking as well as communication apprehension. It's just the fear of public speaking. And then talk about the way that we approach audience analysis and building speeches. So this is one of the big foundational lectures of our class together. And when we talk about our class, just for housekeeping reasons, I want to mention that this is the week that you'll be working on your self-introduction video. And so this is going to be a good help to kind of help you think about how that's going to come together. And also, we're going to work through some of the key concepts that are also addressed in the chapters 2, 3, 6, and 7. So I know they're out of order weird, but that's what we're doing this week. So there's 4 chapters. And if you remember, I said that the way it works is that heavily in the beginning part of the semester, we do more reading and more material. And then that way we can grasp these fundamentals quickly to be able to hit the ground running for speeches. So that's what we're up to. And when we talk about how we're going to work things out in this class, there are lots of different ways that you can communicate with people. And when you're behind a podium, I'm sure that you have seen all sorts of different styles. Some of the styles of the way that people talk to you are done in a way that's very somber, or maybe they're done in a way that's very formal, or maybe it's done in a comedy kind of rendition. There are all kinds of ways that you can connect with your audience when you're a speaker that's in front of a group. And what we focus on in this class is being able to really take advantage of the most important communication methods, which is called extemporaneous style communication. The reason I say that I think it's one of the most important types is because this is the type of communication that allows you to be yourself in some respects, allows you to dodge and move with things that happened during the time that you're speaking, because it's not formally scripted. It's a way that you can be authentic and make these connections. So I want to talk about just the general way that this is going to work for us this semester, because this is the communication style that we are in strong preference for. So extemporaneous style communication is just like your work to make someone that's your audience member feel like you're just talking to them. It's a one-on-one kind of feel conversation. It's one where you use your interpersonal skills in front of the room. And so we're going to kind of break this down a little bit, but I just want to mention that an extemporaneous style presentation would be one that you would prepare by putting together a formal outline of what you wanted to say, and then practice that formal outline so that you can plug and play different parts of the presentation when needed. Or like if you got off track, or if something happened in the room, like thunder or something, then you're not going back to a place on a script to continue your speech, but instead you're going back to the concept. And so by doing that, you are staying live with the audience in the moment. You're not focusing on the material, you're focusing on the audience. You're focusing on making sure that they get it. So that's why this interpersonal style communication is preferred when people are in an audience. And to pull this off, it does require a lot of preparation, because to come across natural and to be able to talk like yourself, then you have to be able to throw away the script and work off of bulleted points and reminders. And this clear, these components really make a difference, because practice makes perfect. once you begin practicing some of the different points and concepts, you'll be able to realize that, gosh, when I talk about this, I talk too much, or this other part, I talk too little. And it helps you be able to reframe and reposition what exactly you want to talk about. And so using notes in this kind of presentation usually works out so that someone might have note cards, or when I do extemporaneous speeches, a lot of times I will have an outline that's typed on a piece of paper. And so what I am able to do is look down at the outline, and based on the outline, I'll look at the keyword, and I know what I got going on for that time to talk. So if I need a reminder what that transitions into next, no problem, I just look back down. But unless I'm actually reading a quote or talking about something that I'm reading verbatim, that's like, hey, this source is, or whatever, then we just don't read. We talk, and we work on connecting with the audience. And so that's what extemporaneous style presentations are. And just to kind of give you a little extra piece on this, extemporaneous style presentations are also exhibited sometimes by what you see folks do when they reach out and interact with pockets of audience members from time to time. And it's really popular for anybody on stage to do this, because it allows you to help even the audience members who you're not looking at feel like that you're engaging with them, because you're engaging with the audience. And so if you're in a comedy club, you watch that comedian on stage, they can't see the audience for nothing in most cases. It's just bright lights, bright lights. Same thing in the theater, same thing in even some churches, or, they just is an aspect that I have learned to hate. And especially if you're a singer, I'm like, how do you even see your audience? Well, you don't. And so sometimes what that means is that as part of your preparation, you gain a familiarity with where the audience is going to be, so that you can remember to engage with where they are. So you know that the amphitheater is this big, and so the audience members are going to be here and here, but you may not be able to actually see them. So it's common to be able to look at a pocket and address that pocket until you complete a thought, and then move to a different pocket or group of where people might be. And I think that it's most funny when I see politicians do this, because if you ever watch politicians walk into a room or during an applause time, they might interact with the audience. And so sometimes that's when you catch them on this kick where they'll pretend like that audience member, like they know someone in the crowd, but they don't. They are, working to make people feel connected. And so to make that connection work, your body language is really important. It means that your performance as an extemporaneous style speaker is engaging in a way so that you're focused on the audience. It's a time where we try not to focus on necessarily like things about my hair or my tie or whatever. Like those things I had to take care of before the presentation. Now that I'm in the presentation, I'm in character. And so my eye contact and my expressive gestures, all of this stuff communicates something, and we have to know that. And so the only way that we take full advantage of that is by practicing. So if we genuinely practice our presentation, then when we know what we're talking about and we know what we have to say, then that message comes across in a genuine way, because we're trying to get that message to them. So audience engagement doesn't just happen by asking people to stand up and that kind of thing. Audience engagement happens when they feel the connection, they feel the authenticity. And that authenticity is really you putting your personality out there to connect with people. So for all that to happen, for this extemporaneous style presentation and speaking stuff to happen, it means that you have to be able to present in a way so that you're just reading off of one word kind of outlines. And it means that you have to be practiced so that when you see that key word, you know what all you want to get across to the audience. It means that you are going to be authentic and in the moment with the audience the whole time. So if something happens, you're able to bounce and weave with what's going on. And this kind of performative presentation takes work, but the end result is that they feel the message. They feel the message from you in the real way. I want to say that for the importance of having a strong opening during this time is key, because I think when we are trying to put ourselves out there and set the tone for the presentation, that's the time where the person is going to perk their ears up or pull their phone out to message people about other things in their life. And so one of the things that we're going to spend time in this class doing is talking about how to develop a good opening and a good closing, so that we're able to show off some of the best features of the presentation, of us, and what's happening next. So all this body presentation, the stuff that gives us authenticity, is what we're up to, and what we're going to be spending a lot of our time in talking this semester. So now that I've just sort of introduced extemporaneous style speaking, now I want to move to the topic of speech anxiety. And I know I've heard the statistic that says that folks are more afraid of doing speech than most anything else, right? They would rather XYZ, 1, 2, 3, bungee jump, I don't know, but it's not that bad. If you can get good at this, it means that you can master things in life that are not that easily given to people. It's not just anyone who gets leadership positions. It's not just anyone who gets asked to speak and their opinions heard. And so this all comes with the territory. And so also what comes with the territory is everybody is scared. I have a freaking master's degree in public speaking. And what makes me scared is that every time I speak, people know that. And if they know that, then that means that they're able to judge me based on that. And that's pretty rough. And so it's not just the nervousness for being judged. It could be the nervousness for getting a bad grade or making a fool of yourself. Thinking about really what gives you the highest anxiety is beneficial right now, because I know that all of the fight stuff hits your body hard. And so I don't know about you, but for sometimes during a preparation for a speech, thinking about what it's going to be like, that can be an anxious time for other people right before you leave to go do the presentation, or maybe when you're next up, maybe that's the time. But identifying when you're most anxious and most fearful and is helpful, because then you know when that time is and you can help prepare for that. It's just not the case that everyone out there is a total natural when it comes to public speaking. Because you can have somebody who's a good talker and extroverted, but that same person, when they're put under conditions of being graded or knowing that the presentation might get them a job or not, or the presentation that they give might mean the difference of the company moving in a direction that they need, or all of those aspects add a lot of anxiety. So Even if you don't face anxiety just by standing up and talking to folks, recognize that there are times when you will, and those times are going to fall in line with times to prepare for those crunch points. Okay, so we have to understand this fear and what's causing it. And I would say that the number one thing that annoys me about speech teachers is just hearing them say over and over that you need to practice, you need to practice. And I'm like, who am I supposed to practice in front of? And what's this supposed to be about? Because, I don't have an audience here all the time. And besides that, I don't want to do it at all. And if I don't want to do it at all, then I'm sure as heck not going to want to do it more than once, right? So we have the attitude about the fact that this is a presentation that I just want to get it over with. I want to get it done. I hate this. And instead of that, we just have to be adults about this and say, look, this is the goal. We need to work towards this goal, and it takes time. And so one way that you can approach a speech is by looking at a calendar and mapping up what you want to do for preparation at what times. Because when I talk about preparing for a presentation, I mean writing out a whole speech in an outline form. And after you've written that out in a speech outline form, you practice to the point where you can get rid of a lot of the words and just have a one-word outline form. And then get rid of a lot of those words so that you just have maybe 24 words on a piece of paper that looks sort of like an outline, so that you're able to just take that and look down at one word and speak to that topic. So to get to that level, it means you need to do a lot of mental work to get there. And then once you're there, you're able to think about working on those small nuances of your presentation that really give you the edge up. So when it comes to practice, one of the most awesome gifts that we have right now, I think, are the cell phones, so that we have the opportunity, to have a recording device in our pocket that we can pick out anytime and do practice time. That practice time, when you watch it back, it's probably going to be brutal, right? Because you're going to see yourself mess up. You're going to see yourself make these ugly pauses. Don't worry about it. Just keep moving, because what that does is it helps you mentally prepare for the next time. So it's not like you see the mistake and you automatically say, oh, so the word I will never say again. You recognize that, so that over time you hear yourself and remind yourself, and you get there. And there's other tricks that we'll get to talk about during this term too, but the preparation and practice component is real. We're going to talk about how to do it in this class, and actually putting in that time will put you in a position where you don't have as much to fear, because you're prepared for that. So people talk to me about communication apprehension really often, because they find out that I teach public speaking, and they're like, oh my God, I would never like doing that. And there really are some true tricks for how to make yourself less nervous, to help your pulse rate go down, help your palms not be sweaty. So let's talk about some of those. I just have so many to share. I don't know where to start, but let me kick off with visualization. So there is a way that you can see yourself in a positive way doing good, and that positive visualization influence everything that you do about the speech. There's so many times when I see students that are going to give a presentation and they hate it so much that all they can think about are negative thoughts when it comes to the presentation. Oh my gosh, I have to do this. Oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. Just stop worrying, stop complaining, and practice. Do it. So this visualization stuff can really make a difference. You guys know that I'm a paramedic, and I deal with emergency situations where my pulse rate might be up and I need to move quickly, think quickly, and be sort of in the spotlight in the moment. And I've done this for a lot of years. So I don't necessarily have to be in a spot where I need to practice doing things. But when I was new, I for sure practiced. And here's some of the other things. I would practice thinking through an ambulance call that would happen to a baby, or think through an ambulance call that would happen during a football game. So these kinds of things of what would happen when, and then what would I do? And it's all about using your imagination. This imagination, visualization stuff can really help you because it gives you a practice opportunity in your mind to see yourself doing good. And forcing yourself to stay positive can have other positive ramifications because positive energy gets it there. And you've all heard of the fake it till you make it. That's how it works. And so I need you to know that these feelings of anxiety are supposed to be there. They're very natural and real. And one of the ways that we can combat that is by seeing yourself doing good, making sure your mind stays positive. Don't let your mind push down on the negative, because that negative thought process will be catastrophic. And another thing is that there are a lot of people out there that have the ability to sort of see themselves when they speak and think separately, right? So I'm speaking outwardly to you right now, and at the same time I'm speaking outwardly to you, even though I'm using words outwardly, I also have the ability to sort of see myself speaking and think about how I'm doing. And so that's called intrapersonal communication, when I have these thoughts to myself. During your presentation, it's important to keep your thoughts positive. It doesn't matter if you dropped your note card or if you passed gas or whatever horrible thing happened. You've just got to keep moving and making sure that your positive mindset stays pure can make a positive difference to get you there. So if you think about negative, we're looking at a negative spiral that can really hurt anything positive that you want to happen. So with that can come thoughts of like positive affirmations, where you boost your self-confidence and you think about doing a successful, wonderful, good job. So that's one thing to kick out there. Other things that help us be relaxed, it's not just positive affirmations, it's also breathing techniques. There's a physiological part to this fear, and so when we get more oxygen to every part of our body, it definitely makes a difference. And so I would like to suggest that you take deep breaths, and not like hyperventilation style breaths, but take deep breaths to help you calm and see yourself do positive, right? So all of those things can help. Now, there's a couple other key things that I just want to give you that are sort of nuggets for helping you do well. One nugget to give you is that the things that are around you can be used to help you stay on track. So if you're new at public speaking, then you may set up things in your environment so that you know how to proceed to the next step, right? So you might have 4 different note cards, or you might have a PowerPoint set up so that the PowerPoint coaches you along. So if you have those things, then it allows you to be able to focus on that and take some of the focus off of you a little bit. But remember, in this extemporaneous style speaking, the focus is on you. You are the one that's delivering the messages. And in our class, especially the first 2 speeches, we're not doing any visual aids at all. So, and the reason for that is I want us to be able to focus on your presentation. And so how you put it out there is what we want to watch.